When rumors hit Formula One, most disappear within hours. But when one links Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton, and Oscar Piastri in the same sentence, you know it's different. It started quietly. In a Swiss publication, a small note claiming Ferrari had begun treating Piastri as a serious long-term target. Within hours, it was everywhere, not because of who Piastri is, but when this was happening. Both Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have contracts expiring at the end of 2026, exactly what Ferrari's next chapter begins. And that timing has everyone in the paddock talking. Think about it. Ferrari just got Hamilton, one of the sport's biggest names, yet behind the scenes, they're already comparing him to McLaren's calm Australian prodigy. That's not gossip. That's planning. Inside Maranello, sources describe what they call a shadow analysis. Engineers quietly ran side-by-side telemetry between Hamilton and Piastri from the Singapore weekend. Legal data, public traces, nothing shady, but the results turn heads. For a team that's still fighting a nervous rear end and divided driver feedback, the idea of bringing in McLaren's most precise and consistent driver suddenly sounds like a long-term fix. And this is where the story becomes fascinating. For Ferrari, it's not just about who's faster. Hamilton gives them power, sponsors, legacy. Piastri offers youth, precision, and calm. But if both end up under the same roof, that's when admiration turns into rivalry, fast. Before we dive into the telemetry that started it all, tell me this. Do you think Ferrari's interest in Piastri is real? Or just another rumor to stir the paddock? Drop a yes or no in the comments. And if you want more inside paddock breakdowns like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Help us reach 2,000 subscribers and keep Fast News F1 growing. When you strip away the headlines and the politics, everything in Formula One comes down to data, and that's exactly where this whole rumor gains weight. Ferrari's engineers didn't invent the story about Oscar Piastri. They measured it. Using open telemetry from the Singapore Grand Prix, they ran a clean comparison between Hamilton's qualifying laps and Piastri's. What they found wasn't dramatic in numbers, but in Formula One, small numbers are everything. Piastri's throttle curve was nearly perfect. His average mid-corner speed, about 4 kilometers an hour faster through turns 7 and 9. His braking modulation reduced peak rear slip by almost 3%. Doesn't sound like much, right? But translated to race pace, that's roughly 0.2 of a second per lap, the invisible margin that wins world titles when everything else is equal. Now, Hamilton's style has always been defined by confidence, late braking, rotation by instinct, and control through chaos. That's how he dominated the hybrid era. But Ferrari's current car punishes that aggression. It needs delicacy, not dominance. That's where Piastri's calm precision looks like the missing puzzle piece. Engineers who reviewed his data described it as algorithmic, every corner, same brake release, same throttle trace, like a human simulator. In qualifying, his steering variance is just 1.7 degrees between laps, compared to an average of 2.3 among top drivers. That means less tire stress, more consistency, and crucially, better mid-corner balance when the grip fades. Ferrari sees that as gold, because if there's one thing the Scuderia has lacked in recent seasons, it's predictability. Piastri gives them that. But here's the flip side. If he adapts faster than Hamilton, the story instantly shifts. The legend struggling with instability, the rookie taming it effortlessly. And in Formula One, perception changes faster than lap times. So, what do you think matters more for Ferrari right now? Raw speed or control under pressure? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this kind of deep technical breakdown helps you see the sport differently, hit the like button and subscribe to help Fast News F1 reach 2,000 subscribers. While telemetry tells one story, the real drama happens off track. Enter Mark Webber, Piastri's manager, a man who knows how to play the long game. Inside McLaren, tensions have been quietly simmering between Piastri and Lando Norris. Incidents like Singapore, where Norris clipped Piastri on the first lap, weren't just racing moments in Weber's eyes. They were signals showing where loyalty ends and independence begins. Ferrari noticed, and suddenly, what started as a rumor looked like a calculated opportunity. Within days, Italian outlets reported that Maranello had compiled an attitude dossier on Piastri, analyzing his radio style, communication, and team adaptability. The traits lined up perfectly with what Ferrari wants: composure under pressure, discipline, minimal emotional volatility. Meanwhile, inside McLaren, subtle friction was growing. Piastri had followed team orders twice that season, yielding to Norris to protect the Constructors' Championship points. Both times he complied, but his tone shifted. Post-race debriefs became shorter, clinical, precise, and Webber started attending every strategy meeting personally, not to micromanage, but to protect his driver from becoming a number two, a label that can define careers in F1 politics. Ferrari, for all their chaos, understand merit-based hierarchy. That's exactly what Piastri's camp wants to hear. Add to that a contract clause that could allow Piastri to leave McLaren early if the team fails to finish in the top three of the Constructors' Championship in 2026 or 2027. And suddenly the door to Ferrari isn't just open, it's strategically unlocked. So here's a question for you. Do you think Webber is quietly playing chess or stirring drama to unsettle McLaren? Vote in the comments with yes for chess, no for drama. And if you want to keep following these behind-the-scenes moves in real time, subscribe, hit the bell, and help fast. News F1 reached 1,000 subscribers so you don't miss any insider analysis. Because in Formula One, while the cars fight on track, the real power often shifts quietly in boardrooms, garages, and whispered meetings, and this story is far from over. For Lewis Hamilton, the rumors about Piastri aren't just noise, they cut deeper than any headline about pace or performance. They challenge his identity inside Ferrari. Here's a man who was signed to lead the Scuderia back to glory, now hearing whispers that a new generation of precision might walk through the door. Hamilton has faced similar situations before, with George Russell at Mercedes or Nico Rosberg years earlier. Each time, he turned potential threats into fuel. But Ferrari isn't Mercedes. This isn't just a corporate machine. It's a political ecosystem where perception shapes reality faster than results. Hamilton thrives on adaptation, brilliance, and instinct, but the arrival of a driver like Piastri, calm, repeatable, and eerily precise, forces a new type of calculation. Internally, his telemetry still dazzles. In Monaco's swimming pool section earlier this year, he clocked the fastest entry of any driver with microcorrections of just 1.9 degrees per steering input. Yet in Formula One, stats can be overshadowed by storylines. Every time Piastri performs, the narrative subtly shifts from Hamilton's adaptation to Ferrari's next chapter, and that psychological weight no simulator can replicate. Hamilton's contract adds another layer. It runs until the end of 2026 with an optional extension tied to performance and team trajectory. If Ferrari struggles, Hamilton can walk. If they recover, the team could accelerate a transition to the next generation. In that calculus, Piastri isn't just a name. He's leverage, a mirror reflecting Hamilton's own position in the team. Insiders say his tone in briefings has shifted, less defiant, more strategic, planning the steps ahead. He's already thinking about 2026. Regulations, about hybrid energy management, about how to combine his experience with the precise, measured approach Piastri embodies. But internally, he also knows the risks. Two strong personalities under one roof could either elevate Ferrari to perfection or ignite a civil war that keeps them from winning anything. Here's a question for you. If you were Lewis, would you fight to stay number one or mentor the next generation? Type your answer in the comments and explain why. I want to see what you think. And if you want to keep following this story, subscribe, hit the bell, and help Fast News F1 reach 1,000 subscribers. Hamilton's next moves could define not just Ferrari, but Formula One itself. You won't want to miss a single development. Looking at the bigger picture, everything comes back to 2026. Formula One is set for a complete regulation reboot, a 50-50 hybrid power split, smaller cars, and a shift from downforce to aerodynamic efficiency as the new currency of performance. For Ferrari, this is both opportunity and risk. The weaknesses that have cost Hamilton time, rear instability, inconsistent tire windows, become irrelevant, replaced by new technical demands. Who adapts faster? That's where the so-called Piastri equation becomes critical. Hamilton thrives in eras of instability, Piastri excels in precision. Together, they could cover every variable the new rules throw at them. Internally, Ferrari is running parallel strategies. One focuses on short-term championships with Hamilton, leveraging his experience to extract maximum performance. The other plans for a long-term transition, building around the next generation, and everything points to Piastri. He brings youth, consistency, and an untapped fan base that Ferrari sponsors see as a gold mine. Combine that with Hamilton's adaptability, you have the potential for Ferrari's most intriguing lineups at Schumacher and Barrichello, or, if mismanaged, the most combustible since Prost and Mansell. The stakes are high. If Ferrari gets it right, Hamilton's final chapter could be one of redemption, and Piastri's arrival could mark the start of a dynasty. If they get it wrong, internal conflict could destroy both the legend and the prodigy before 2027 even begins. Rival teams are watching, McLaren is reactive, Red Bull is adjusting to its own gaps, and every decision now has ripple effects for the grid. So here's a final question for you. Which scenario do you think is most likely? 1. A Ferrari dynasty. 2. A civil war in Maranello. Or 3. A slow, careful transition. Type your answer in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into Ferrari, Hamilton, and Piastri, subscribe, hit the bell, and help Fast News F1 reach to 1,000 subscribers. Like the video, share it with your F1 friends, and keep watching as the story unfolds, because when Ferrari starts planning 2 years ahead, it usually means the game has already changed.